Welcome to Politics Nation. I'm Al Sharpton. Tonight's lead: Republicans are focused on who's up, who's down, who should drop out. But if they really want to lead, they have to start talking about what's really important to the American people: jobs. Mitt Romney's talking about birth control. Rick Santorum is talking about socialism. And Newt Gingrich is talking about himself. But the fact is, most Americans are desperate for another conversation. 51% say the economy and jobs matter most to them. No other issue gets more than 5%. Getting jobs for the people is what voters want to talk about. Those are the policies people want to hear debated, not side issues. Republicans may be sidetracked, but President Obama is not.
This is not just another political debate. This is the defining issue of our times. This is a make or break moment for middle-class families and everybody who's trying to get into the middle class. We can fight for an economy that's built to last. And that's what we've been talking about for the last 3 years. The values that always made this country great: hard work and fair play and shared responsibility. Everybody.
Getting people back to work through hard work and fair play, that's what matters. Look at this. In the past 30 years, the income gap between the rich and the poor has become shocking and troubling. Fixing this gap is what matters. The rich have gotten richer, but the poor have seen few gains. This president is working to change that. But Republicans, they don't have an answer. Mostly, they just deny the president credit.
He, of course, wants to put as positive a shine out as he can, but the reality is that this is going to be a tough battle. He's got a terrible record. He's got a lot of explaining to do.
No, Governor Romney, you and the other Republican candidates who want to replace President Obama have a lot of explaining to do. This country is desperate for a real debate about how we create jobs, not petty stuff, not side issues. The Republicans who want to lead this country won't have a chance at that unless they lead. And that means having a real conversation about people. This is not about inside baseball. This is about how we lead the American people so that they can return to where their families and they can comfortably earn and take care of their futures. Joining me now is Congressman Jim McDermott, Democrat from Washington, and Jared Bernstein, an MSNBC contributor and former chief economist for Vice President Joe Biden. Thank you both for joining me tonight.
It's good to be here.
Congressman, do you think one reason why Republicans are not connecting with voters is because they don't seem to have any real answers about the job situation?
Well, it's very clear, Reverend, that they simply don't even want to talk about it because they know if there are jobs available, the president will look good, and they don't want him to look good. You always have to remember, number one, they don't want him to be reelected. And if things get better or seem to be getting better, it's bad for them from their point of view. So they're doing everything they can to prevent him. The fact we can't pass a transportation bill that would build highways and roads and transit systems and all those sorts of things and provide real jobs is because they don't want to get that done and make the president look good. And every indicator that's going up, they say, oh, my God, well, it's only going up a little, and you can't believe it yet. They don't want anybody to think things are getting better, but they are.
Now, Jared, when you look at the fact that Americans are on the side of fairness, how can the GOP keep running against this issue? Let me show you the support for the Buffett rule, which deals with a fairer income tax and fairer taxes in terms of rich and middle class and working poor. 76% of Democrats support the Buffett rule, 64% of all voters, even 49% of Republicans. How do they continue to run against the will of the American people on such an issue as this?
Largely by invoking the kind of supply-side trickle-down theories that really got us into this mess, including that inequality problem you talked about earlier. First of all, let me give a quick shout out to the congressman. Jim McDermott's been fighting for working people ever since I've met him, more than a decade ago. Look, I was on a debate the other day about these issues. I was actually debating with Senator Ron Johnson. And the economy, I think it was on the Jobs Day or right around there, and he attributed the improving economy to the policies of Ronald Reagan. Okay, they just hadn't quite kicked in yet. Right. Now, yesterday, I read some Republican commentator saying that the reason the market went up yesterday was because the forward-looking market predicts that a Republican will win in 2012. So, if you're looking backwards or if you're looking forwards, it has nothing to do with the president. It's all somebody else, and that somebody else tends to be a conservative. I mean, this is a spin cycle that is as divorced from the facts as you can get.
Now, let me ask you, Congressman, the candidate Mitt Romney said today that he won't apologize for his wealth. Let me let you hear it first before I ask my question.
I made a lot of money. I've been very successful. I'm not going to apologize for that. I know the DNC tries to push this out, and they get it on the mainstream media networks, and that's where you guys see it, and everybody laughs about it, because in this country, we want someone who can help other people become successful. This is a nation which is not going to choose our president based on these little innuendos and personal attacks.
I mean, doesn't he understand no one begrudges him or anyone else being successful, Congressman? This is about an inequality where it seems like the rich are getting advantages and the working class and the middle class are getting disadvantages. I mean, statements like that make me feel like he doesn't even understand what the debate is about.
He really doesn't. He doesn't understand that when he says in Michigan that he would let the auto companies go in the tank, he's saying to thousands and thousands of auto workers, I don't care about you and the fact that you lose your job. The president went out on a limb against a lot of people and said, I'm going to save those auto companies, and he did it. And Romney still, in the face of that, still talks about the fact he'd let him go in the tank. He doesn't understand working people at all. I don't begrudge him money. Some people got more and some people got less. It doesn't make any difference. But everybody wants enough to take care of their family, keep their house, and educate their children, and have health care when they need it. And the president did that for the people in Michigan. And this guy who was born and bred there, he says, walks away from all the people and says, I don't care what happened to you.
Jared, it seems to me that Mitt Romney's not the only one that doesn't get it. Look at the fact the GOP governors, recently many of them talked about they're optimistic about the economy, but there's a bit of messaging problem here. Right. Let me show you. Governor Kasich says, we're alive again. We're out of the dish. Then Governor Brian Sandoval, Nevada's on the move again. Governor Rick Scott, Florida got to work. I mean, what are they talking about? Either the president is helping or he's not. It seems like they've got one talking point here, then reality here, and denial here. What's going on here, Jared?
So here's another experience I had that relates to that. I sometimes go on these market shows, and I'm sitting there waiting for my segment to start, and all the market analysts on a day like yesterday with the markets way up are saying, this is a great stock market, the financials are coming back, the banks are doing better, the corporate profits are, this economy is really picking up. And then they get to my segment and say, Jared, Obama's killing the economy. So they can't both be right. Yeah. And I agree with you, Reverend. It's a very tough call when you're trying to say the economy's doing better because I'm governor, not because he's president. All of this really comes down to, I think, what I was trying to say earlier and what the congressman's been emphasizing. There's momentum. We're moving in the right direction. We're not there yet. On the policy side, the last thing you'd want to do, and I think this is key to the president's message, is to go back to the policy agenda, to sing from that same songbook that got us into this mess. The trickle down, the favorable tax rates for income from capital gains and from hedge funds and all that, to go back to the very policies that got us, the deregulation, all of that, it really does ripple through whatever candidate you want through the Republican side. And to do that when we're actually finally climbing out of this hole would be a very tragic economic mistake.
Congressman Dick Morris even says, oh, you can't give the president credit. He says Obama's entire claim that the economy is reviving is based on phony numbers and rigged statistics. But a lot of Americans are saying enough already. Lead, tell me how we're going to get jobs. We're in over, 20 primaries and caucuses in the Republican move to get a nominee, and we still don't know what their jobs plans are. There's no one that has risen above the minutia and said, let's deal with jobs. People are hurting out there. I mean, can we challenge them to lead and compete with the president on leadership rather than political trivia?
We have tried, Al. We have tried very hard. And I think the American people are going to take care of that in this election. You cannot be, as the Republican Party has been, the party of no, that we're going to stop everything. Their whole program when they get to election is going to be, I voted no. I voted against everything the president wanted. And the people don't want that. We have tried again and again to push legislation that would get jobs out there, and the Republicans kill it. I think that they simply don't understand that the middle class in this country is getting crushed.
Right.
I talked to people today. Foreclosures are up now in the state of Washington. They should be going down, but they are continuing to crush people's ability to hold on to their homes and hold on to their families and what's going on in the society. We need jobs.
That's right. And they're talking about the party of no. I'm talking about the people of no jobs. Congressman Jim McDermott and Jared Bernstein, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you.
See you again.
Ahead, the backlash over the war on women is raging all over the country. But Willard Romney is getting right in the middle of it. We'll show you his plan to get rid of Planned Parenthood. Plus, video posted by Congressman Peter King on an arrest raid in New York is raising serious questions. He may have broken the law. Why was he editing footage? And should the Homeland Security chairman even be doing this? And it's that time again. President Obama makes his March Madness picks, and one of them will surprise you. You're watching Politics Nation on MSNBC.